What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. It's another transfer update video. Lots going on as we enter this last 9 or 10 days of the window, and we'll start today with the shock news, I suppose, that Manchester City are interested in signing Kyogo Furuhashi. Now, this has been reported by Sky Sports News and predominantly from Sam Lee from The Athletic, who covers Manchester City for The Athletic, and it looks like Kyogo has been targeted by City as a replacement for Julian Alvarez, who's recently left Man City to go to Atletico Madrid in an £82 million deal. They're looking for backup for Erling Haaland, given that Alvarez has now left. The talk is, in Sam Lee's story, that Gundogan coming back to the club from Barcelona as midfield cover is currently the priority for City, and Kyogo is one of two players who they have earmarked to come in and replace Julian Alvarez. So this comes as a shock in a number of ways. That Man City are interested in one of our players, I suppose, as a shock. And obviously Kyogo is a massive player for us. He has been ever since he walked in the door. Back in 2021, he hit the ground running. He scored so many goals for the club. He was the spearhead of the Ange Postecoglou era. That was only 2 seasons, of course, before he left for Spurs, but last season still scoring 19 goals, adapting to Brendan Rodgers' style of play, but still central for us, still considered the main man, despite the fact we've brought in Adam Ida. And Brendan Rodgers keen to point out that both him and Ida are the main strikers, the number one strikers who are going to share the load this season. We were concerned a couple of weeks ago when Kyogo moved agency to CAA Base. We wondered whether that might be to do with looking for a transfer. Who knows where this interest is at? The outlets that are reporting it suggest that it is legit. We'll need to keep an eye on it in the next couple of days or as we move towards the window. But after talking about the Matt O'Reilly developments yesterday in terms of his move to Brighton, which seems imminent over the next few days, there's no way we can afford to lose Kyogo as well. Vio Tate has also been linked with a move to Leicester, but it seems quiet on that front for now. I think if we were to lose Matt O'Reilly and then a player like Kyogo, all of a sudden we start to look like a totally different team. That's 2 key players from the spine of the team. The lead man up front, the top goal scorer for us, who's been the main man for 2 or 3 seasons, and then Matt O'Reilly, who's been the best player for the best part of a couple of seasons. Those 2 players are absolutely huge for us, and if we lose them both in the final days of a transfer window, I think that gives us a mountain to climb and can considerably change the face of this Celtic team. There would be huge holes to fill if Kyogo was to leave. I would obviously personally be absolutely gutted. I've really enjoyed watching him. I haven't got so much joy from watching a Celtic player since Henrik Larsson was here, and that seems like a daft thing to say because I was a kid when I watched Henrik Larsson, but I've absolutely loved watching Kyogo, and I hope we get at least another 12 months from him. I think it's only natural entering his 30s after having been here for 3 years and 4 years, if he does stay until next season, that there would be a natural parting of ways and that his cycle at the club might come to an end. It would be a huge shock though if it came to an end this summer and he made a move to somewhere like Man City. From their point of view, I can actually completely understand why he has been targeted. I think he's handmade to play back up to Erling Haaland. If you think about the way Man City play, how they get to the byline, the amount of low crosses they score from, getting inside fullbacks and centre halves, with those low crosses, those low cutbacks, and the sort of one-touch finishes that you see from Haaland all the time. I think Kyogo is absolutely handmade to play back up to him. I can see why it makes sense for them if they want to rest Haaland in some lower-profile games and have someone like Kyogo there who, as we saw under Ange Postecoglou when we played like that, really quick in attack, but constantly working overloads and getting to the byline and getting those low crosses, those low early crosses where he's on the shoulder of defence, picking up those intelligent areas in the box to just finish first time. I think he's absolutely made for it, but we'll see how it goes, we'll see how it develops. For Celtic's point of view, I think we absolutely cannot afford to lose him. It would come as a huge shock this late in the window as well. And we'd have a mountain to climb to try and replace him and Matt O'Reilly in such a short space of time. Now, in other news, in terms of Celtic looking at players to bring in before the end of the window, we have been linked with Mateusz Bogusz from LAFC, 22-year-old Polish attacker who scored 13 goals and has 5 assists in the MLS this season. I watched a lot of clips of him on Y-Scout this morning. He looks a really talented player. Has played predominantly as a centre forward this season for LAFC, probably hence the goal tally, but to me he looks like someone who naturally drops deep to get on the ball and links the play really well from middle to front. He looks to me like he would be a more suitable replacement for Matt O'Reilly. I know a couple of people this morning thinking, could he be the player that we've looked at to replace Kyogo, but I don't think it's that far down the line yet. Bougusz looks really talented. I'd like to see a player like this come in. It's a good profile. Played at Leeds United, obviously started his career over in Poland, didn't break into Leeds United first team, then he was in La Liga 2 before moving to LAFC, and he's made a real impact in the MLS. Again, a good age, a good profile for us, and I think having someone who's become established at a level like the MLS, which is a growing league, we know, not the highest profile league in the world, but a league which has grown in stature and grown in quality as well. I think Celtic would be a good natural next step for a player like that. There was a report this morning from a Polish journalist and a Polish news outlet that Celtic are close to agreeing a deal with LAFC for Bogusz, so we'll keep an eye on that one. And as I say, I think he looks like a more natural replacement for an O'Reilly rather than coming in as a striker, whether that be if we face our worst fears and we lose Kyogo as a replacement for him. Or to play. There's no way that a player of this stature is going to come in as a third striker. As I say, he's played centre forward quite a lot, but he's versatile. He's also played from the right hand side and a couple of times from the left hand side as well. As a sort of inside inverted winger, but I think he looks natural playing maybe as an attacking midfield player. But we'll keep an eye on that one. He looks a really promising player. Again, maybe similar in stature to Arne Engels, who we were linked with from Augsburg. And again, that's the type of player you would like to see Celtic go out and get if we do lose Matt O'Reilly this week, and get him in as soon as we can, so that he's in a position to hit the ground running as soon as he can if O'Reilly does go out the door, because O'Reilly, if he does leave, or if and when he does leave, is going to leave a huge hole to fill in the team. So there you go. That's just a quick roundup of today's transfer news. If there's any more, we'll be straight back with you. I think last night this Kyogo news sort of started breaking with some Man City outlets on Twitter. So things are moving quickly at this stage of the window, and if we get any more news, we will be back with you to talk about it. But please let me know your own thoughts on the Kyogo rumours below. Do you think it's genuine? Do you think there is a real chance that we could lose him? How do you feel about it? And please don't forget to subscribe so you keep up with all the content between now and the end of the window. We've got so much coming up. It's the Champions League draw next week as well, and we'll have a live stream to take you through that, and we will see you on the next video. Thank you.